Hey guys, welcome to Symon's Dinners. We have a fantastic meal plan for you. A little bit of spiciness going on. So we're gonna start things off with a barbecue pork steak cut right from the shoulder with a cherry barbecue sauce that's hopped up with jalapeno and chili flakes. It is gonna be spicy. Now, first things first, I'm gonna get the sauce going for my pork steaks here. So for the sauce, I have a medium onion, and we're just going to put a dice on the onion. You know, get it as small as you can. These don't have to be a perfect dice because we're going to puree the sauce anyhow. I'm using a yellow onion here, but red is fine, whatever the freshest onion is. And now a jalapeno. Now this is where this is dealer's choice. If you want it super spicy, you can leave the seeds in. If you want it less spicy, take the seeds and rib out. So make it how you want. Now we have a pan. We're gonna take the pan, put a little bit of olive oil in it, and we're going to put it right over the coals on our grill because we're gonna saute this. So that goes in. We'll season up our onions and our jalapenos right here. And to that, we're going to add a little bit of cumin, about a teaspoon, and a little bit of coriander, both ground. I'm gonna toast these with the onions and the jalapeno, so the flavor really kind of comes out of it and rounds out. And we're just gonna kind of stir these up, let them get translucent. Now I'm going to add my cherries. Now you could use frozen cherries if you like, fresh if you got them. So the cherries go in, about a quarter cup of molasses, a couple shakes of Worcestershire, and then the secret but not so secret ingredient, we're using a cherry soda that has 23 different seasonings in it. That goes in, we let that come to a simmer. Everything's gonna kind of break down, marry, get in a very happy place in the pool. Then we're gonna buzz it up till it is a nice smooth sauce that will be ready to baste and finish our pork steaks.
What does the soda add to it?
You know, Liv, it adds a little bit of sweetness. It actually becomes a little bit of a thickening agent as it reduces. So the sauce is simmering away, so I'm gonna start the rub for the pork. Now, I feel rubs are very personal to people. Everybody has a different opinion. If you love a rub already, buy the rub. I'm gonna go with first a tablespoon of sugar, a tablespoon of salt, kosher, and about a tablespoon of coarse ground black pepper. To that, we're gonna add 2 teaspoons of garlic powder, 2 teaspoons of onion powder, 2 teaspoons of sweet paprika, but any kind of paprika will do. And then depending on how hot you want it, 1, 2, 3, 5 teaspoons of chili flakes. So now we have our pork steaks. Now this is a great cut of meat. Some people call it pork steak, some people call it pork butt steak, but it's a cross cut of the pork shoulder or the pork butt. The pork butt is what they make pulled pork out of. So from above, we go with our rub. You don't have to go crazy, just nice coating on there. If you have extra rub, don't freak out. This will last for minimally a month, so you don't have to worry about that. At this point, if we were pinched for time, we could go right on the smoker and we would be good. I like to give the rub minimally about 3 hours to kind of settle in, up to overnight. Here are some that I did last night. Exact same rub, but see the difference in the color? It's got down inside the meat. It's almost like a dry brine, so the flavors kind of really get in there. Now, before I put this on the grill, Liv, you gotta come over because there's some stuff going on here that's important.
All right, I'm ready.
We wanna maintain about 250 to 275 degrees in our grill. You could set up a kind of snake method, and this is gonna start burning, then it's gonna work into here, work into here. It's gonna help you maintain that 250 to 275 degree temp for that longer cook, and that's it. We just gotta maintain that temp through the cooking procedure, and that's what's gonna make that meat tender and make it really delicious. This is gonna take 3 to 4 hours or until the internal temp of the pork steaks is 195 degrees. So it's just a low and slow situation. So I'm gonna put them on the exterior section of my grill, away from the heat. These have a lot of fat in them. If you were worried about not getting enough moisture, you could put a little can of beer or a little bit of water in there to help you build up the moisture in your grill. It is very humid here today, not gonna be a problem. Let's drop the lid down. We'll also control the heat by our top. If it gets too hot, you start to close it down till you get to the right temp and you are in a good place. So this is at 160 now. It'll be up to about 250 in no time at all. Time to finish our sauce. So I'm gonna get a blender. I'm going to get a lemon and a little bit of balsamic. And we're gonna take that sauce that we let cook for, about 10 minutes just to let everything break down. And we're gonna add a splash of balsamic vinegar for some sweet acidity and a little bit of lemon for some kind of pure acidity to cut through all the flavors and sweetness we have in the sauce. This is kind of, you could see, simmering away. And
It smells great.
We're gonna put it in the blender and then we will return it to here and let it continue to cook. Remember, with a blender, start low, work your way up so you don't have an explosion. Now we just got it pureeing. As it is pureeing, we put in a little bit of balsamic, the juice of the lemon, all right, so 45 seconds. That sauce is smooth. We're gonna add it back to our pot, which will go back on a slower, off the heat part of the grill, and we're just gonna let this reduce a little more till it gets that nice barbecue sauce consistency, which will take about 20 minutes or so.
It smells delicious.
Cherry deliciousness. All right, so I'm just gonna let this hang out, and you can see those pork steaks are really starting to get nice and tender and juicy. I'm now gonna take that cherry barbecue sauce that we made, and I'm gonna glaze them pretty liberally with this barbecue sauce. And then I'm gonna drop the lid down and let these cook the rest of the way through, and this sauce is gonna caramelize up a little bit, and these pork steaks are gonna be ready to rip. So I'm gonna put a pork steak.
Look at it. And you just scooshed it through the sauce, so that's
Yeah,
nice.
it gives a little scooch. You could put a little cauliflower on there.
Okay.
So this should be tender enough where
yeah,
you can
I was
kind of
just gonna
pull
say,
it with
a knife, but
a
no.
fork. See?
Oh, yeah.
I don't think you need a knife. So
No.
you just pulls right away from the bone.
Get in there.
I love this because, I love pulled pork, but I like a pork steak even more because it has a little bit more structure to it. The other thing that's so nice about it is you don't need to have that 8, 10, 12-hour cook. In a couple hours, you could have the pork on the table.
Also, sometimes I don't like barbecue sauce that's super barbecue-y. This is nice and mild, and I feel like a crowd pleaser.
Barbecue's not a sauce, barbecue's a technique. So you want the sauce to accent the meat, not hide your hard work. So you don't hide behind sauce, you use it as an accent. Fennel, crusted, grilled pork porterhouse, topped with citrus salad. We have our pork porterhouse. They have been coming out to room temperature. I'm gonna get my rub going. So I have equal parts brown sugar, kosher salt, and then half the amount of ground fennel, chili flake, and a good amount of cracked black pepper. So liberally with the rub on both sides. And then I am just gonna hit these with a little bit of fat before I put them on the grill. I have some duck fat in a can, which I'm gonna use, but any fat would work here. Whatever you kind of have on hand works just fine. So we're gonna give these a little spray. Now with pork, I'm gonna go 145 to get that juicy pork, especially with the porterhouse. If you cook them too far, they will be dry. Fat side down. Okay, as this is going, as I promised, I am going to make a fennel and citrus salad. So pretty thin, set your mandolin. All right, so shaved fennel goes in the pool. I'm also gonna take these tops, just with my knife. They still have good flavor. Remember, with any vegetable like this, the closer to the root, the more intense the flavor is. So this goes in. I'm gonna give those pork chops a flip again. So we're gonna move them over here, no longer on the coals. And then I'm gonna set down the lid. It's gonna create an oven in my grill and cook these through to the desired temp. So we are gonna supreme or segment these oranges. I don't wanna get the fibrous part. I'm just all flesh. So that way, when people are eating the salad, they don't have to deal with that fibrous part of the orange. So we're gonna put in a little bit of zest for Liv, and Liz likes the zest too, so. All right, now we're gonna put in about a cup of mint leaves, just whole Just pick off those mint leaves. I'm going to hit this with some extra virgin oil. Just gonna make like a dressing right in here. Sherry vinegar, little bit of honey, some kosher salt. This is actually crunchy sea salt, which will be nice for texture, and a good amount of cracked black pepper. Give this a toss. And once this is all tossed, it's just gonna hang out and marinate. I wouldn't even put it in the fridge, let it sit at room temp and let it marinate until your pork chops are done. And this is gonna be the topper. So broccoli rabe's ready, pork chops. We topped them with that fennel citrus salad. I'm just gonna gild the lily a little bit, just a little bit of fennel pollen, just right on top to finish our fennel
Love fennel
theme.
pollen.
Me too. Pork chop first.
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
That has a beautiful smoky flavor. I love anytime there's like a meat protein, I love a salad with it. Something to cut through the fattiness. That's an amazing combo.
We're gonna make a sticky Asian influenced sauce, put it on a bun. This is a bone-in pork butt. It's not a full butt, but it's on the smaller side. But the first thing I'm gonna do is make a rub. So I'm gonna put in, it's about 2 tablespoons of kosher salt, and then like a half part black pepper, half as much cumin too as the salt. Same with the coriander. And then just like a little bit of garlic just to kind of bump it up. And then we just go high above, sprinkle your rub. We're gonna give this a flip and then get our other side. So we get the seasoning all the way around. So pork butt is now ready to smoke. So we have our chimney. You can see those coals are red hot. And I'm gonna just put some of those coals on the side. Same thing over here. And then I have some cherry wood here. I like smoking with fruit woods. Fruit woods are my first choice. They don't permeate too much. So I'm just gonna put a chunk on each pile. And then in between the flames, we are gonna place our pork butt. I have the vents here shut down pretty good. So I'm only at about a third open on my bottom vent. I'm gonna be a third open on my top vent, and that's gonna maintain around that 300-degree temperature I'm looking for. For a pork butt, I don't mind going a little hot and fast, so you could be anywhere between 275 and 325. We are gonna smoke this until it reaches an internal temperature of 205 to 210 degrees. That's when it's in the happy place for pooling. This is gonna take anywhere from 5 to 6 hours to cook. So, next, we're gonna make this sauce. And the sauce isn't gonna go on until we start pooling this towards the end of the procedure, but I'm just gonna get it done now. This is like a sweet, spicy, sticky sauce. So the first thing that we have is we have some fermented soybean paste, and I'm gonna go about 1/4 cup. It's gonna get really nice flavor because of that fermentation. It's like salty and delicious. Same amount of honey as fermented soybean paste, so about 1/4 cup. We have some Korean chili paste, a couple tablespoons. This is where your love or not love of heat is your call. Some marin, which is like it's like almost like a sweet Asian wine. A little bit of sesame oil, some sesame seeds, rice vinegar. It's the most mild of the vinegar, so it's not gonna get too tart. And then I am going to plop in 1 clove of minced garlic. So in goes the garlic, some scallion. I don't like this really thick barbecue sauce. I like it to be a little bit on the thinner side. We're still holding at about 305. We glazed this before we went out, close the lid back, let that sauce set. We are going to take off our pork butt.
Okay.
So, you know, we're getting right in there.
Oh, I
So-
just saw some juice drip down.
I'm just gonna pull enough for our sandwiches and I'll dress some of this. Take a little bit of our sauce. We're gonna
Oh, yes.
dress our pork with it. Oh, you put the bun right there. All right.
I thought it was took us back.
Wow. The gentle smoke of that pork butt, the sweet stickiness and that deep flavor of the barbecue glazed sauce we made. BLT lettuce wrap that is delicious. I'm gonna place the pan on the heat. Once it heats up just a touch, we'll put a little bit of fat in there. It's a little cheat, gives the bacon a little head start. I'm gonna cut my bacon up. into, you know, medium-sized chunks. A good cheat and easier way to cut bacon is if you put the bacon in the freezer for a little bit, it firms up and it's very easy to cut. So just a good trick for you at home. So we're gonna put the bacon in the pan. This is like a medium-ish heat. We're just gonna let it start to render, and as it starts to render, it's gonna start to shrink. We're gonna keep moving it around till it is all super crispy. I make a basic sauce for these kind of BLT lettuce wraps, and then we build it from there. So we have some mayo, little bit of mustard. I'm going Dijon, nothing crazy. Small pinch of salt. We have the bacon, we don't need a lot of salt. And some fresh chives. I'm doing these in here. Any soft herb would be good. Basil would be good in here. Flat leaf parsley would be good in here. Think of things that are great with tomatoes. That would be delicious. These are gonna go in our sauce. Give this a little mixy mix. So I just grabbed some tomatoes out of the garden, and I'm just gonna kind of put like medium dice on some tomatoes. I'm gonna grab some of the other ones, split them or quarter them and put them in there. All right, so I'm just mixing it up, getting some different tomatoes in here, some different colors. All right, so look, I'm gonna mix this in with my mayo. And then the last thing that we're gonna add to this is our bacon. So the bacon's ready. I'm gonna strain the bacon. And of course, I'm gonna reserve the fat. My grandfather, my idol, when you would go into his fridge, he saved all the fats to cook in. And it's one of the reasons that I think everything tasted so delicious that he made.
How long do fats last?
Refrigerated, they'll last for months.
Okay.
All right, so fat comes out, bacon goes in, reserve this.
I also think it's so
here.
smart you're mixing it with the mayo mustard because since it's lettuce, you don't have anything to really put it on.
Right, so like this is almost like this, like a tomato salad, basically. And then we're gonna serve it on the lettuce, and this way it's just very easy to pick up and eat. But there you go, you just want a nice kind of mixture of that.
Give this a whirl. The smoky bacon, the little bitterness of the endive, I love it.
Smoked brisket chili. First things first, brisket. About 1-inch cubes. You don't have to be perfect. This is chili. It's gonna be a little bit on the rustic side, inspired by Texas. So we have the brisket cube. To that, I'm gonna make a little spice rub. We have cumin, coriander, cayenne, and a little bit of paprika. And to this, I'm gonna put in a nice big pinch of kosher salt. Okay, so beef is gonna go in with the spices. We are gonna give this a very quick toss, and then I will show you how we're gonna build the smoker to kind of maintain that 275, 300 degree heat. Over here, I have no coals on our grill yet. So we're gonna take off the top. Here I like using coconut charcoal. It's a sustainable charcoal. So these are coconut briquettes. We also have some chunks of wood. And we're gonna start thin and then kind of build the pile up as we go. And we're gonna place the chunks right on top. I'm gonna set my starter on the thin end. We're gonna light the starter, and then it's just gonna slowly start to burn this off. So we're gonna come up to that temperature, and then it's gonna take about 30 minutes or so to smoke the meat. This is kind of a simpler snake method. Goes back on. We're gonna set this away from the heat. We are going to put our meat right on there. We're gonna spread the meat out, put the lid down. I'm gonna let my vents open up pretty wide on this, and this is gonna cook for about 30 minutes. So to make the chili sauce, we have some bacon. These were big lardon bacons cut into big chunks. This is gonna go into that pan. All right, so we are going to start dicing up our vegetables.
And you're using a red onion, but
I'm using a red, if you have whatever onion you have in your kitchen, Liv. All right, so onions are diced. Garlic, I'm just gonna slice very thin. All right, jalapeno. We are going to take the ribs and the seeds out of half of these. So it's like you're mildly spicy. All right, so bacon is ready. Onions are gonna go in first. Jalapeno. Put that garlic on the top because that cooks the fastest. Pinch of salt. So I'm gonna move this off the high heat. I'm gonna move it forward a little bit because I just want these vegetables to become almost translucent, not caramelized. So I am not gonna blast them over high heat. Time for our puree. So the puree comes together pretty easily. I have some chipotle and adobo here. We're gonna use about 2 chipotles out of here. I also have 2 dried ancho chilies soaking in water to 1, soften up, 2, they give us this little liquidy broth that's great that we're going to use. I'm gonna take my 2 anchos and then about a cup of this liquid, because the liquid is almost like liquid gold here. And we'll reserve some of this liquid in case we need some later for the chili. 2 of the chipotles and adobo. So to this, I have cocoa powder and chili powder, and now we buzz till it's smooth. So this comes to the front. We are going to pour in our blended spice mixture. Oh, everybody get out of there. So to add to this, I have beef stock. I have some very strong coffee. So it could be strong coffee or espresso, and then whatever your favorite beer is. So I'm gonna pour that in my blender to make sure that I get out all the goodies. Our coffee in there. And our beer.
If I didn't want to use alcohol, could I use something else in here?
Yeah, you could just add a little bit more stock. We're gonna give this a stir. I'm gonna take a little bit of our Sicilian oregano, and we're just gonna give it a little shake till we get 2 teaspoons or so. Move this back over the high heat. This is going to come up to a simmer. That base is simmering right now. It looks beautiful. We have cooked our meat to 140 degrees for about a half an hour. You can see it's taken on some of that color. It gets that nice kind of smoky burnish to it. And this is gonna go right into our broth, and we're gonna cook it till it's tender. So I'm gonna have the grill going here at about a simmer. I'm gonna keep it off the heat. It's gonna be about 375 degrees, just kind of simmering away. It's gonna take an hour, hour and a half until it gets tender. Lid goes back on. The chili is looking divine. It all comes together. You got that meat, the sauce. There's no tomato product in here, but it does look tomatoey because of all those lovely chilies that are in there.
Very stewy.
So I am gonna take a little bit of that crema. I'm gonna take some nice chunks of avocado, scallion, and I am gonna hit it with some cilantro plumes, and then just grate a little bit of cheddar on top.
Gosh, that's gorgeous.
What do you, gorgeous, right?
Love it.
All right.
That is so good.
Wow.